Well then, where shall we go first? Why ask? Let's go and hear Battler Sand's answer. Grinning, Erica cut across the entrance hall and passed in front of the dining hall, deeper. She headed for the guest room Battler had lain dead in. Battler could put off deciding whether the seals would remain whole or not until the moment right before Erica witnessed them. However, once she did witness them, the game master would have to show what happened to them. In the witch's game they were in now, the simple act of going to check the seals around the guest room was an attack. Are you ready, Lord Battler? Yeah. Or as you'd say it, come step forward. Good. Then show us your response. Well now, are the seals broken or are they not? Has the closed room been preserved or hasn't it? The piece Erica held high in the air was the White Queen, which represented herself. Her target was Battler's camp. She attacked. Erica dashed down the hallway with a sickening smile and clung to the guest room door like a spider. Then she closely examined the seals that had been placed retroactively. Heh? Are you sure? Are you sure about this, right? You are sure about this, right, Battler-san? Is this okay, Battler-san? Yeah, I can't back down here. After all, even if I'm sealed in here, there are ways of placing the letter. But now Erica will probably enter the guest room, and then she will observe your corpse. What are you going to do? If the corpse is there, then there's no problem. The letter's prediction will be off, but it's not as though there's a penalty for that. But still, you intend to fight head-on? There are times when a man is challenged head-on that he has to respond, no matter who the opponent. I must not pull back here. I'll take that challenge. I can search a way out all I want to later. I managed to do that with Kinzo's study last time. Don't worry, I can do it. I can do it. Come on, Erica. We have confirmed the seals to the guest room are undamaged. Since the time Lady Erica confirmed Battler's presence, this closed room has been preserved. Good. I'm breaking the seals. Rip and tear. Hey. Erica destroyed the packing tape seal on the door in ecstasy. It looked as though the intellectual rapist had finally laid her true nature bare. Okay, I'm opening it. Let's have a look at Battler-san's naked scenario. Ha 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 ha. Like a ruffian pushing down a frail girl, Erica mercilessly and greedily threw the door open, then finally inside of Battler's guest room was observed by Erica. Battler had to show it. Was there a corpse or wasn't there? Come on, Battler! Here's my response. Battler grabbed a black piece from the board and raised it high. That piece. Beato had no memories of the time she had been an expert at this game, and yet for some reason she realized that this was a move that could not be taken back. Once this piece was moved, they couldn't move it back. Wah. The guest room was covered by a silent darkness. It was pitch black and nothing could be seen. However, there was a light switch just off to the side of the entrance. If she flicked that, the whole room would lit up and she would see whether or not there was a corpse there on the bed. Shall I turn them on? No, wait a second, please. Battler-san, I have a proposal. Let's hear it. I think you already know, but this time around I'm not aiming to find the culprit and achieve a standard victory. My enemy is not the lowly culprit killing the pieces, but my opponent, you yourself. I know. So, you're after a logic error. I'm seriously regretting it now. Even though you were just pretending to be miserable, I fell for it completely and gave you a ridiculous ability. That was your pride. It will cost you dearly. So mercy is also pride. Gotcha. We're also saying that if Battler was the kind of person who wouldn't give a single flying fuck about a girl who is crying, that wouldn't have been pride, and it would have saved him. So in that situation, being a jackass who doesn't care about women would have saved him. Also, not being naive. So, being more paranoid and not so sentimental. Damn it. So, what is your proposal? With a firm voice, Beato urged her to continue, until just a second ago she had remained behind Battler's back a bit flustered. However, she was steady now. She saw that Battler had let his emotions take control of him, and had been lured into making a bad move, and realized that it was time for her to stay cool and support him. Erica's proposal couldn't be anything good, and on top of that, Erica was sly. She probably wouldn't make a proposal that would be easily rejected. I will now turn on the light. The top of the bed will be lit up, and it will be decided whether or not Battler has disappeared, as the letter predicted. If he's there, great! There's nothing strange at all. The letter's prediction would just be wrong. Of course, the argument would probably switch over to the two, then who put the letter there. But for the time being, the location of the fight would move outside this closed room. And if he's missing, Beato already knew. She knew the move that Battler had made a second ago. Battler had already disappeared from this room. Therefore, they would need to prepare a disappearing trick other than he was actually alive and left through the door. The situation is simple. First, this room is a closed room. Also, Battler's life or death status hasn't been confirmed. In other words, him being alive wouldn't cause any problems. They had to make Erica think that Battler had vanished from the situation. He just had to escape from the room. Or if that wasn't possible, he just had to hide somehow and wait for her to leave, making her think that he'd disappeared. Inside this tiny room, I will now begin our endgame, the chase after the king. It should end in just a few moves. You'll be unable to construct the logic needed to let Battler escape from this room, and the tale will be destroyed. Game over. Fighting to keep that from happening is our job. What is this proposal of yours? An endgame fought over a logic error should be a bit more precise. Once again, we will fight with the red and blue truce, but we need a referee on the same level as the game master to observe and see that he doesn't create any logic errors within the red truth. That seems reasonable. There's nothing special about this. Back when the old you was the game master, you were under the observation of your guardian, Lady Lambda Delta. In that way, it was judged that all red truths were valid. So you're telling us to show Lambda Delta our cards? I've been watching since the beginning. It's okay, don't worry. I am impartial in my judgments. Can you say that in red? Yep, I swear that I am impartial in my judgments. I was plenty impartial in the last game, wasn't I? Especially for our interesting judgments where she doesn't care which way it falls. Accept it, Battler. Erica is going to corner you. Understand? She will duel with you and kill you in this room. If you're a man, accept the duel. Sure, fine. We won't get anywhere if you suspect every single impossible murder I show of being a logic error. It's true that we needed an observer to guarantee that the game is legitimate. Then I'll come around to your side. Let me take a look at your hand. Lambda Delta understood what Battler had up his sleeve, and she saw that Erica's first move had indeed gone straight through his heart. Just as Erica had guessed, Battler was alive and had slipped out of the room after Erica had examined his corpse, placed the letter by the guest house, and hid himself somewhere. When the packing tape seals had been retroactively placed in the guest room, he would have had to show that they had been torn. However, if he had done that, it would be the same as admitting that he had been seen through and that he had lost. Unwilling to admit that, Battler had claimed that the seals had been maintained with false courage, and was now rushing to revise his logic. True, he could still escape for a few more moves. However, Erica was planning to corner and kill him here. Battler, you're fighting with some pretty incredible cards here. Cards. Does this game of chess look like a card game to you? To me, it looks as though you're all playing a game of poker. So, by moving to this side and looking at the cards you hold, I understand everything. That's an awful move. It's a complete waste, and Erica has already seen right through you. What would you do? I'm the referee. I can't give advice. I can't give you advice, but let me tell you my impressions. No, that's okay. It's chilling. You're trying to use this useless move, this baseless bluff, to make Erica back down. She's not going to back down, that girl. After all, you're the one who should be throwing us chips in and folding now. Thanks for the advice, Battler-san. I agree with her. Let's back down from the fight in this room. We don't have any winning cards. Were you hoping to discard your cards and draw something more useful? I thought you were playing chess. In the world of chess, if you rely on luck, you die. By hoping to draw something useful, she meant relying on luck, and betting that even if he couldn't think of a trick now, he might think of a good plan for making a closed-room trick later on. If you enter into a fight without any trick in mind, you get killed. Now was the time to back down. When Erica flipped the switch, he just had to be sleeping there on that bed. That's all he needs. Well, I mean, he could even just be sitting there alive. Lambda? I don't know what you're talking about, but you're chatting too much. A referee needs to be impartial. True. Then, good luck, Battler. I'm hoping for a precise, chess-like battle. You aren't playing poker, are you? Are you ready, Battler-san? Yeah, I am. Turn the lights on whenever you want. For the rest of this fight in this room, the progression of time will be stopped. This way all the moves for both players will be made at the same time, and the first move made will be treated no differently than the last move. It might be hard to understand, but this rule exists for the purposes of maintaining logic, and to keep you protected as well. From here on out, you can use all the twisted logic you want to rebuild the trick in this room. In other words, it's possible that you might think of a good idea partway through the fight. Normally, it's unfair to revise your plot partway through. In order for that to be acceptable, you need a world stopped in time, where everything happens at once, and where logic that you think of afterwards can counter your opponent's earlier moves. Of course, Eric can take advantage of this rule as well. If you revise your trick to be a new one, she can deal with that in a different way. This is pretty complicated. It's simple. It's like a corrupt politician's war of twisted logic. You lie shamelessly. When evidence is shown revealing that lie, you retract those previous lies and shamelessly say that you just remembered it wrong. Then change it to a new lie that doesn't have any contradictions. The fight goes between a lie, then evidence exposing it, then another lie, like a fight between two snakes spinning around trying to eat each other's tails. Good. Just think of it as a world in which you're allowed to use twisted logic based off of your opponent's moves as often as you want. I used to think that myself when sealing this room, so I thought it was only fair to let you do the same. You have no shame, do you? Okay, then let's have both sides begin. Will Erica take the first move? Will she start by checking the bed by checking to see what he's bet? Yeah, let's start by checking to see if Battler's on the bed. Erica, begin. Leave it to me, my master. Light on! With a click, the sound of the light switch rang out and the bulb turned on, lighting up the room. On Battler's bed was... Lunar. Confirm it with the red. Yes. Ushiromiya Battler. No, it's my move. I'll say it. Ushiromiya Battler is not on the bed. Good. I'm glad you didn't run away from the fight. I'm impressed. It's a high-stakes battle, so it'll cost you a lot if you're the one who loses. Are you prepared? Giggle. No one would raise the stakes unless they felt confident in their advantage. Lunar, keep a record. As you wish. At Delunar's nod, Cornelia, who was hanging back, started taking a record. She wrote down that Battler's corpse, which should have been on the bed, was not. And also that Battler hadn't backed down from this closed-room game. As previously announced, Battler's first move is to have the corpse vanish. Now it's Erica's turn. Go ahead. I present the possibility that Ushiromiya Battler is alive and hiding somewhere in this room. I proclaim this with the blue truth. Invalid. If you want to use the blue truth, give me a specific location. Piff. In the last game, Beato did that in Kinzo's study, and Lunar made Swiss cheese of her, right? Are you trying to take revenge for that? Before I start searching, I have one blue truth I can use without a search. There is a possibility of a hidden door X that is impossible to discover. He's hidden behind that, so it's impossible for me to find him. Nox is third. It is forbidden for hidden passages to exist. Isn't that right? No hidden places that are impossible Erica-san to find exist inside the guest room. Nox's third, valid. Good. Then, let's get started with the search. Erica slowly began to walk around the room. Until the endgame had started, Erica had been energetic, jumping about impatiently like a hungry dog. However, now that it had actually begun, this was a stifling battle of wits where each breath made her tense. Even the quiet sound of the rain was distracting. Now that I've searched the room, let's confirm its layout. The guest room is divided into 2 rooms, the bedroom and the bathroom. Lady Erica has currently searched the entire bedroom section. There is only one exception. I'll leave that one place be for the time being. So, were there any irregularities discovered in the bedroom? There were none. Except for one location, there is no one to be seen in the bedroom. What's this except for one location business? Say it without being annoying. There's a reason a face-down card remains face down. I'll turn it over if it's needed, so look forward to it. Giggle. After thoroughly checking the bedroom, Erica headed for the bathroom door. Since he wasn't in the bedroom, it was natural to think he was in the bathroom. And since the guest room was made up of 2 rooms, if Battler wasn't in the bathroom either, it would mean that he had managed to vanish from the closed room, except for the single location that Erica had intentionally left unchecked. I'm checking the bathroom. Lady Erica. The sound of the water can be heard from inside. Also, there is a faint heat. Oh? Don't tell me he's taking a shower. Is it locked or something? No, it isn't locked. Go ahead and open it. Then, if you'll allow me. Slowly, Erica put her hand on the doorknob of the bathroom door. She tried to push it open, but a strange resistance. Of course, it wasn't the resistance of the lock. It felt as though it had an unnatural load on it. Out from there, the slightly open crack poured hot air up from the shower. However, it was unlocked, so there probably wasn't anyone taking a shower. After letting a dumbfounded expression rise to her face, Erica slammed into the door with her whole body, knocking it open. Yeah? What? As soon as she opened the door, the hot blast poured out on her. Erica froze, unable to understand what had happened. After falling backwards on her butt, she realized that the boiling hot shower water was spewing out at her, and hard. What is this? What a crazy prank. Cursing, Erica wrapped the blanket from around the bed around herself and tried to enter the bathroom once more. This time she was able to figure out what was going on. It was quite an elaborate prank. A wire fixed the shower nozzle in place so that it pointed at the entrance. The pressure and the heat were turned to the max, so that anyone who went through the door would be met with a wave of hot water. The pressure was very strong, which probably accounted for the weight she had felt when trying to push the door open. She tried to make the nozzle point in another direction, but not only was it fixed in place with a wire, it was also fixed in place high enough that Erica couldn't reach it with her height. She tried to turn off the pressure, but that also was held in place with wires. She couldn't manage anything with her bare hands. She would have to get a tool that could cut wires. However, when she looked at the bathtub, which was overflowing with very hot water, she saw a bundle of wires and some nippers that had been used to cut them lying at the bottom. If she used that, she could turn off the pressure. Ow, 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 damn you! The blanket she had used to protect herself from the shower was getting more and more drenched with the boiling hot water. I'm honestly surprised at the hot water tank being able to handle this, because usually, even modern hot water tanks, would run out of heat after half an hour, and you have to actually, not be using it for a while before you get the hot water back. At least another half hour. You couldn't if you just let water run like this continuously, it would be ice cold. Even if you had it set to the highest setting, it would be hot. It would be ice cold. Unless it was been done about in the last half hour. But then again, I don't know if that'll ever be brought up at any point in the story. That's right, she'd get burns even through the blanket. She needed to turn the water off quickly. Right next to the bathtub, she saw a hanging long-handled body brush. Perfect. Erica used that to skillfully scrape the nippers up off of the bottom of the tub. Fortunately, it was a shallow Western-style bathtub. If it had been a deep Japanese one, it probably would have burned her badly. Making sure not to touch the hot metal parts, she carefully took the nippers and cut the wires around the faucet. Take that and that. She's finally managed to turn the hot water turned the hot water faucet, and the heat from the hot water storm died down. For a while, Erica was forced to cool her almost burnt arms under the running water. What a calamity. Would you like a bath? I can wash your face with this brush. I appreciate the sentiment, but no. Oh, that's a shame. Erica had finally regained enough of her composure to be abusive. She turned off the faucet completely and silence returned to the bathroom. After that, all that remained was Erica's heavy breathing. She turned on the fan to get rid of the hot steam. She had to leave the bathroom until that was finished. It was pleasant, like stepping into an air-conditioned room on a hot summer's day. Now, that was a ridiculous trap. However, that wasn't here at the time I examined Battler's corpse. Therefore, the appearance of this trap proves that Ushiromiya Battler was alive. Well, I never thought he was dead anyway, so he decided to openly show a card that had already been exposed. Let's check the inside of the bathroom. Was Battler seen? No. No one was seen in the bathroom. Good. Now we've confirmed, except for one location, Battler does not exist anywhere inside the guest room. Give that a rest. Just where is this one exception? A coffin. Ushiromiya Battler's coffin, that is. Ashes to ashes, the dead to their coffins. You plan to trap me in this room, right? Okay. Let's have it. A silence that was complete, except for the rain, was suddenly filled with the smell of gunpowder. Though it was extremely quiet, the room was filled with tension, as though you'd be sliced in half if you relaxed for an instant. A cloud of gold butterflies gathered on the room's round table and turned into a witch's chessboard. It was finally time for her attack. Blue truth. You did not vanish from this room. You just hid yourself to make it seem as though you disappeared from a closed room. The place you were hiding is the one exception that I haven't investigated yet. As Erica lightly raised her hand, a single gold butterfly appeared from the darkness behind her. It filtered between the index finger and middle finger of Erica's raised hand and became a white piece. Then she lifted high into the air. This is the one exception, the walk-in closet next to the entrance. Bang. Like a falling white lightning bolt, the white piece hit the board, landing by a weak spot in Battler's formation. Yes, it is here. With a crash, the door of the closet, which was just off to the side of the guest room's entrance, was impaled by a spear that represented the blue truth. The lantern had spun around and thrown it. The door was completely pierced, and the spear stuck in so deeply that if a human had been hiding in it, it would have been pierced their chest as well. Its still quivering handle was a testament to the force with which it had been thrown. There are no places in which to hide other than this. You are now hiding in here. What do you say, Battler-san? Have you been struck through the chest for a literal smothered mate? Battler-san, it's our move now. Yeah, I thought it'd be like that, Erica. You intentionally left one spot so you could stuff me in that coffin. It's the same move that trapped Kinzo in Natsui's room. I saw it coming. Oh, did you? Then let's see your response, but let me make a prediction. Let's hear it. I'll checkmate you with 2 moves from now on. That's my prediction. Then I'll make the same prediction. I'll checkmate you in 2 moves. Sounds interesting. These predictions contradict each other. Who will be the liar, I wonder? The air burst and sparked. The silence would hurt one's skin. Then go. It is your turn. It's useless. Your lowly coffin won't be able to trap Battler-san. Here's my response. Slowly, Battler moved his hand over to the chessboard. A gold butterfly that had appeared from the darkness rested on Battler's finger and became a black piece. That black piece was the king, which represented Battler. This is my response. To your Battler is hiding in the closet. Take this. Ushiromiya Battler does not exist within the guest room. There are no exceptions, including the closet. Like a black bolt of lightning this time, Battler slammed his piece down on the white piece of Erica's that had been cut deep behind his lines, crushing hers. It scattered like a golden spray that melted beautifully into the darkness, and as a faint cloud of gold sparks drifted about. I see, so he hid in the closet at first, and then slipped out of the room while Erica was occupied by the shower. It is the same technique he used to let Kenzo escape from the study in the last game, distract the observation of the observer, and disappear into the darkness. Good. Of course. Yes, of course. I'd already foreseen that move. Next was Erica's turn. A gold butterfly popped into existence in front of Erica, and she grabbed it right out of the air. She then lifted the hand into the air and raised the white piece high. Let me announce a retroactive move. This occurs back in the very beginning, right after I broke the seals and entered this room. At that time, I immediately closed the door, reset the chain, and sealed this room. Objection. Goda severed the chain back when the crime was first discovered. Since the chain lock is not functioning, it is impossible to use it to create a seal. Objection overruled. Erica repaired the chain lock. How? In the Batman. C. Impossible. How could she have repaired a brass chain? It was possible. Have you forgotten, Beato? The packing tape seals. Erica used that packing tape to join the two cut ends of the chain together, sealing them. In other words, the chain was repaired by the packing tape, and this room once again became a closed room, locked me. I don't think your arts and crafts see enough for that from the inside. Objection. Erica-san has already used up her packing tape seals, hasn't she? She shouldn't be able to use them anymore. Objection overruled. The use of the packing tape wasn't limited to the number of strips, right? It was limited by the number of rooms. The only restriction was limit to only 3 rooms. Erica chose this guest room to be one of those rooms, so Erica has the right to seal as many places as many times as she wants within this room. Gah! That's right. I gave her permission to do that. This is the cost of your pride. Sympathy is the evil liquor that the proud are most fond of. Okay, so sympathy is in sin. Got you. So, with this retroactive move, I proclaim that the chain lock has been repaired by the packing tape seal and has regained its original functionality. And thanks to that, I locked the room upon entering it and made this guest room a closed room from the inside once more. The white piece Erica held aloft represented the seal caused by the chain lock. This move would draw out Battler's king and drag it to the guillotine. Die, Battler. The piece for the chain lock was slammed down right at Battler King's throat. Repeat it. The lock was created by the chain is currently intact. Battler's face contorted. Beato, who was watching from behind, grimaced even more. This move was very painful. If his logic had him hiding in the closet until Erica left, using the uproar in the bathroom to escape, then the chain lock must have been undone. In other words, he couldn't have responded to her demand. If he didn't respond, Erica would use the blue truth in her next move. She would probably say, you hid in the closet, then use the disturbance in the bathroom to escape. Since you then couldn't set the chain lock from the outside, you left it undone. She would be right. This was checkmate. As Erica had predicted, she would strike the finishing blow on the second move. And on top of that, she would probably use the disappearing Battler to solve most of the crimes that were to follow. Losing the battle in this closed room would steal a major deciding piece from Battler. But what if he responded to her demand? What if he could say the lock created by the chain is still intact? That would be fatal to Erica. It had already been shown that the red truth that this guest room could only be made into a closed room from the inside, so this hopeless closed room would instead become Erica's coffin. With a riddle of that magnitude, Erica probably wouldn't solve the mystery of Battler's disappearance before the end. Each unsolved riddle gives an advantage to the witch's side. Battler wanted to respond to this demand, if at all possible. However, if he answered by saying the chain was still set, he would have to abandon the logic saying that he had escaped while Erica wasn't looking. Once he escaped, he wouldn't be able to set the chain lock again. It would make a riddle to corner Erica, but he would have to construct a different escape method. Even a move such as him leaving the closet during the scene in the bathroom and hiding another place, say under the bed, wouldn't work because he had proclaimed that Battler does not exist within the guest room. If he could construct logic that allowed him to escape from here while preserving the chain lock's position, then Erica would be the one facing a fatal blow. However, if he didn't have that logic, if he failed, it would be a logic error, the worst and lowest forbidden move that would instantly end the game in his defeat. He would have no way to recover. For Battler, deciding how to respond to this demand was a very advanced and difficult decision. Either way, Erica would probably corner him. In that case, my choice is obvious. But Battler said, this guest room has already been restricted in many ways by the Red Truth due to its closed room nature. How do you plan on escaping from this? If only I could do something about the chain lock. If only. If he could somehow get around the chain lock, he could force Erica to deal with the terrible closed room. It would probably end up as a finishing blow to her, but in order to do that, he would need to make a trick for escaping the closed room that existed before Erica came back, which was now the closed room seal by the chain that Erica set right after entering the room. And on top of that, he had to make sure that the chain that could only be set from the inside remained in place. If he could do that, if he could find the way, then it would end here. But I still can't think of that trick. Right now, Erica is demanding to know whether the chain lock is still set or not. I need to decide whether I'll take that challenge or back down, and I need to do it right now. If I can find a certain win trick, then this is the end. But if I don't have that trick, I should just acknowledge I slipped out of the closet, undid the chain, and escaped backing out of the fight. If I say the chain was set without a trick up my sleeve, then it's impossible for me to escape. In other words, it's a logic error. Even if we lose the fight in this room, there will still be chances left to us. We've still only started the second day, haven't we? We have plenty of time to reconstruct an impossible murder. No, that's no good. If I acknowledge that I've escaped from this room now, it's the same as acknowledging that I'm the culprit. If I back down from the fight in this room, it's the same as accepting my defeat in this game. Battler's point was a valid one. Since all the other humans were still locked up in the guest house, then if Battler alone was alive and free to move, Erica would probably base her explanation for all of the following impossible crimes on the blue truth that Battler was the perpetrator. If they wanted to forcefully turn that around, they would have to rewrite their tricks and logic so someone other than Battler would be set up as the perpetrator. If they fixed up one flaw, it would give rise to new flaws, which might eventually pile up and kill Battler. Even running away would mean tightening the noose around his own throat. The first truth, that Battler is the culprit, has already been hit upon. And yet I have to struggle desperately to get out of this. I need to. I'm on the edge. I've definitely been cornered in a dangerous spot. However, if I can just change my position, everything might turn around at once. If I can just make this chain my weapon, I can kill Erica. Wait, are you actually going to respond to her demand? Is there any way to escape without undoing the chain lock? There isn't. If you respond, you'll lose instantly from the logic error at the end. It's clear which choice we ought to make. Yeah, it's clear. No matter what move we choose, it'll turn out for the worse, just as Erica wants. If it's horrible either way, I'd like to choose the move that has the biggest reward if we win. You're going to call, even though you have no logic for escaping and no trump cards. You think you can accept her demand and win? My cards might be useless. However, with just one more card, they might become a straight, a flush, or even a royal flush. If hell waits for me after both options, I'll take that one. That'll finish her off if I win. That's an insane move. Sometimes madmen leap into the path of death, and so miracles occur. It's impossible. How could you escape this closed room without removing the chain? There's only one difference between heroes and madmen. It's whether they win or lose. I'll be looking forward to your big victory. If I can finish things with this move, then as I predicted, I can kill Erica on my second move. I can still think of a trick for escaping this closed room. However, there has to be something. There has to. Once I think of that, I can make a magic illusion of me changing into a golden butterfly and slipping out of the crack in the door like smoke. If I have even a drop of that mad magician's blood in my veins, please let that honor give me just a fragment of a miracle right now. So, Battler-san, let's have that second move that you predicted you'd checkmate me on. Please give an answer to Lady Erica's demand. Will you respond or will you refuse? Slowly, Battler's hand stretched out to his king piece on the board. He lifted it up and slowly held it aloft, tracing a large circle in the sky. Would Battler respond or wouldn't he? Would the lock caused by the chain be preserved or wouldn't it? Would Battler's king crush the piece of the chain lock that stood right in front of it, or would it slip away like a ghost and escape? This is my response. As predicted, on the second turn of mine, you're through. Here it comes. Furudo, Erica. Battler's king had become a black lightning bolt that crashes down onto the board. Where had it gone? And on top of the piece of the chain lock, or past the piece? I will repeat it. The lock caused by the chain is intact. Battler's king had left the chain lock piece in its place, and it slipped past it. Heh. Yeah, it sure would be cool if you could say that the chain lock was still set, wouldn't it? Don't you think that'd be cool? But do you know what they call a fool who's so full of himself he jumps into the path of death just because it's cool? No clue. Ushiromiya Battler. That's what we call them. I file a motion for a logic error. That red truth of yours just now has cut off your own logic. Please have the impartial referee make her judgment immediately. Great Lady Lambda Delta. Motion received. Lambda Delta, does this make logical sense? Your inspection, please. Motion received. Battler, show me. Let me see your cards. Battler-san, it is a royal flush, right? If you've got nothing, you won't get out of this with just a sorry, okay? Yeah, I have no intention of apologizing. If it's a logic error, the game board will be blown away. You've inherited this game board from Beato. It's the one thing you have left of that precious Beato, so you must not allow for a logic error. A logic error only becomes established when the witch admits to it. As long as they can keep thinking of a new logic to escape with, they will not die, cannot die. However, that would be like living in an endless living hell of the mind. Even if you manage to crawl all around forever, falling onto the darkness of thought, you'll just be eternally trapped in a hell where you constantly think of ways to escape that closed room while refusing to accept your logic error. Are you sure? Are you sure? This is nearly as bad as the depths of oblivion. Got it? It's like the difference between falling from the roof of a 10-story building and falling from the roof of a 100-story building. Lambda. Battler has already finished making his move. Players can't take back a move once it's made. Act as an impartial judge. Carry out our motion. Carry out our motion. And see whether or not Battler's escape from the closed room is logical, and whether there has been a logic error or not. Be slow, accurate, and meticulous, like an archaeologist. Exacting, methodical, and worst of all, patient. Then again, those are some useful skills to have. You know, be able to do planning, frustration management, patience. If anything, it's very useful to do things in life that require the brain to fail. Basically, give yourself a task that, in order to succeed at, you have to fail 100 times. And be as fast as a guy at an ice cream shop when he forcefully and skillfully scoops out that sweet, fragrant vanilla/soy sauce ice cream? Yes, I know that. Battler, let me see it. Battler-san. Beato, do you think I'll lose? I don't want to think that. After fighting with the old me many times, you finally reached the miracles that I so wanted you to find. So, I'd like to believe that you'll win through a miracle once again. This woman called Beatrice. The whole time, she fought on this same border between reason and madness. She fought with a mixture of sadness, anger, and several other emotions for me that can't be described with words. And in the very last game, at the very last moment, she managed to seize victory. That might have been the purpose of the card Beato had been gripping as she fell. Beato passed away without realizing that she had won. In the final game, the true victor was Beato. That Beato entrusted me with this game board, so I'll win. So I need to at least So I need at least you to believe in me, Beatrice. If I believe and a miracle occurs, please. I do believe in you. Battler-san. This is pissing me off. Please just check it already, Lady Lambda Delta. There is no valid logic. There doesn't exist any way to get out of this closed room. You were overeager, Battler-san. If you could win with this, that'd be cool. If you just vanished even through the chain is still set, that'd make you so awesome, so cool, so mysterious. Hold me. Kia-ha-ha. Like hell you can. Like hell you can do it. If you could do that, you really would be a witch. If you could vanish your way out of this closed room like a puff of smoke, I'd have to acknowledge it. It'd be the work of a witch. Quiet, Lady Erica. Lady Lambda Delta is conducting her inspection. Pass through. One move. Go back. And corner. With sweat gathering on her forehead, Lambda Delta inspected the movements of the pieces from Battler's side. She was accurate and meticulous as an archaeologist, just as Birkenstell had told her to be. After gulping stiffly, Lambda looked several times between the formation of the pieces on the board and Battler's face, which remained tense but steady. Lambda, I have finished my inspection. There's no way that logic works. Please, God. Erica? What? I'm so sorry. Which way am I supposed to take that? It was fun. Now, this is the end. I told you, which way am I supposed to take that? Silence. I have finished inspecting Battler's move. My decision is that... it's valid. Valid? You're lying. I judge it to be valid. He's presented logic that doesn't violate any of the red truths, and I've finished checking it. Ow, I had to stretch and I was kind of sore. I'll probably go to bed. Later, guys.